here at the American Cinematheque's Aero Theater, 76 years old this year, for a wonderful event.
Hi, I'm Kaya from Sustainable Works, and I'm thrilled that we have everyone out here tonight for Cowspiracy. We're really excited to tell people about easy, simple solutions that they can adopt to help us with some of the problems that we're facing today regarding the environment. So thank you for being here.
And the nice thing about this is they do this on a regular basis, and a lot of times they allow residents to come for free, much like I did.
It's a great theater and it's a great cause tonight, Sustainable Santa Monica. And I love the cycling.
I'm vegetarian, but I'm interested to know what are the politics behind the, agriculture and really what kind of choices that I can make in my daily life. Should I cut down on dairy? Should I, make other choices in what I'm eating? And also what kind of policies need to be put in place to help, control, climate change and any kind of air pollution and deforestation, all those kinds of issues. So that's what I'm here hoping to learn.
Do you think there should be any concern of us making this documentary?
If you don't realize right now that you're putting your neck on the chopping block, you better take that camera and throw it away.
Hey, hi everybody, how are you doing? That was a bit of a punch in the stomach, that movie, pardon the pun, but wow. Okay, so thank you so much for staying. I'm Belinda Weymouth. I'm going to be your moderator tonight. And right here we have Walker Foley, and he is from Food and Water Watch. And then we have Roberto Main, and he has the fantastic vegan restaurant Elevate. It's Elevate. Anyway, I ate there today. It's really fantastic vegan food. I totally recommend it. You're going to want to run there after seeing this. We have Steve Wick, and he is the co-chair of the Climate Change Committee for the Angeles chapter of the Sierra Club. And last but not least, we have Nora Kramer, and you're the LA director for Factory Farming Alliance Coalition. Yes, okay. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was, at the beginning, Gina brought up three solutions, or three things that we could do. And those were, we could reduce our dairy and our meat intake. And the second one was we could take the pledge to be vegans for a month. And then the third thing she suggested was that we could get in touch with environmental organizations that we like, that we're members of, and we could encourage them to be talking about animal agriculture and the effect that it's having on the environment and climate change. And so what I wanted to ask you guys was to speak to those three things as solutions, what you think of those, and if there would be other things that you would add that you can see, that would be really great for people to, to be able to do in response to, what's happening as far as animal agriculture is concerned.
So those are interesting points. I would certainly advocate that anyone take a challenge to really truly reconsider where their food's coming from, how it's made, anything that reintroduces us back to an education of the wholesomeness of what food can be and how our diets are actually so impactful to our health, I think are really important steps to take.
Some of the funny things or fun things that people say to vegan people is, look, human lives are more important than animals. You need to get used to that. I wouldn't argue with that because that's what they want to hear. You're right. So let's feed them. Let's feed the humans. So let's stop feeding the animals our grain and our things we watched today. And if you want to take that stance.
Obviously, the best thing we can do individually in terms of our diets is all to go vegan tomorrow. And realistically, that kind of cold turkey change, when we're changing our habits, a lot of times don't stick. So we might try to, if you try to do anything overnight, you might try it for a few days and be like, this is too hard, and give up on it. So I think the gradual shift may work better for some people, ideally moving in that direction.
What's fundamentally happened in this country in the last 50 years is that we've broken apart social movements. People are less active in their communities. Social clubs have been broken apart. The rise of consumerism has separated us from understanding what that list of 40 ingredients on a box of crackers really means. We're so disconnected. And as much as we need to raise our individual awareness, we need to get back to building a community support that this country really grew out of. And we're starting to see that with the prevalence of mass movements like Black Lives Matter and other folks that are taking to the streets, speaking to social injustice issues. And this is starting to also happen across the environmental movement with people chaining themselves to pipelines or protesting the expansion of fracking, which is really the world that I come from. And if there's one thing I've learned in the last 3 years of organizing, it's that we need to start believing in our own creative and productive capacity to organize in our communities and demand change, because it begins with all of us.
What I discovered was that, what we call comfort food is really only 2 generations old. So it's not that old. When we eat on Thanksgiving is not what people ate 4 generations ago. It's a completely different thing. But yet we call it, oh, that's what my grandma made. Past grandma, that's it. We don't know what the hell she made. But different ovens, different food, different canning, all that kind of stuff's different. So it's only 2 generations old. That's important to recognize. Number 2, the flavor combinations have nothing to do with the animal-based proteins. So let's not divorce the flavor combinations. Let's not get rid of all of your cookbooks that are about animal proteins. Keep those. Replace the animal proteins with things like beans and lentils, and still use the same seasonings. And it's shocking how similar this food tastes. And people are shocked to find out that they don't miss the meat. It's just ingrained in us. Tomato soup and grilled cheese, that's like the best combination ever, right? On a rainy day. Or whatever mom made you can still eat. Don't give up on that. Don't show up on Thanksgiving and go, I'm vegan now. That's a jerk move, man. That just says, look at me, everybody, I'm special. Ease into it. But mashed potatoes, they don't have to have butter in them to still be delicious. When you retrain yourself how to cook, you don't have to change what you eat, you just have to change the way you make it. And you'll be surprised at how much you like it and how easy it really is.
So number 1 is raising awareness, kind of cloning yourself, right? There's the awesome thing that you're doing, and you get to educate one more person, and you've now doubled your impact, right? Or halved your impact environmentally speaking, right? So that's already a win. You post something on Facebook, one person sees it, oh my God, right? You can also, pass out leaflets or, other ways of raising awareness. But that's, a go-to thing. Any cause that you care about, you're already taking the actions, get other people to know about that too, right? So that's number 1. Another thing is looking at infrastructure. And really, ultimately, I would say, looking at why are people eating this way? And one of the things that I can see is infrastructure. It's just a lot more convenient, and that's the reason to request it. People are used to it. This is how they've always eaten. They've never really thought about it. So raising awareness, is the first level. But infrastructure, right? If you can convince someone that recycling is important, but if there's no recycle bins, only a few of us are going to hold on to our can and walk 3 blocks to find the bin, right? So that's part of the reason to make requests. Because a lot of times you might see a restaurant that doesn't have any veg options and you just kind of shake your fist, but that doesn't do anything. They don't know that that's why you're not eating there. So you can go in and ask. You can also post on their Yelp or their Facebook, give them a bad review, give them 1-star reviews. I would love to eat here, but there's nothing like vegan, and restaurants care about that, right? So think about how you can influence things. I mentioned also I work with a lot of teenagers. I run a summer camp for teen activists, and a lot of them, they're doing a lot of awareness raising with school clubs and things like that. But they're also trying to influence the cafeterias and where they're getting their food. And so LAUSD has officially implemented Meatless Mondays, which is amazing, and yet it's not actually happening at a lot of schools. But LAUSD actually voted to do Meatless Mondays, which is amazing. And there's a lot of school districts around the country that are doing that. And part of that is from pressure from students, from families, from teachers and community members, because ultimately it's funded by our tax dollars. So those are a few things.
I talked to a lot of climate scientists on kind of the whole ball of wax, and we don't have a lot of time left. We have to hurry this up, both in terms of climate science and, we every year in the world, we kill billions of animals every year. So we have to make a choice on stopping that. And so you make the change, you organize, not necessarily with nonprofit groups, just organize how you want to organize, and you just handle it, you just do it. And this, obviously the social media, I'm getting too old for this stuff, but social media really has an effect on how everything changes, because that, what we saw in the Arab Spring and other things, social media will literally change overnight on how things are seen and the point of view and all that. So we really need to get moving quickly, because we need to move this a lot faster than we're doing now.
Essentially, we have to recognize where we have power. And so Steve and Nora are talking about community organizing, essentially changing the dynamics of what's around us. And that has real power beyond personal decisions, because then we're influencing policies of the ecosystem we live in.
These are all these actions, that we can take as individuals and that we can take in our communities and with organizations. But, we all have elected congressmen and women, and they all have environmental staffers. And it's really easy. There are websites where you can find out who the environmental staffer is for your congressperson, and you can just call that person up. And you can email them, and you can tell them, I've seen this, I've seen Cowspiracy, and you can start a petition in the school that you go to, or the community college that you're at. And you can, get your politician's ear. You don't have to, just take it lying down that these corporations have all this money to spend and then, have all this political influence. We can, take the power back, which is a thing I really like, taking the power back. Anyway, I saw a question up there in the back. Yes.
I wanted to know about soy. I've been reading, they say that if you eat a lot of soy, it's not supposed to be good for you, but is that true? And what other stuff do you eat a lot?
Well, there's not an overwhelming amount of Asian hermaphrodites running around because of the soy that they consume. Tofu is an amazing product. It's packed with protein. It's a clean thing to grow and produce. Soybeans are fabulous, and soy sauce is so good. So I'm not nervous about it.
I brought about 40 or 50 students tonight with me. Part of my students' requirement for the classes I teach, I'm a science educator in Santa Monica, both at Santa Monica College and Santa Monica High School, is that they have to engage in the community in various ways. And that involves 8 to 10 community events each year. And so they get to choose which events that they go to. And I'm very fortunate that Sustainable Works offers a free movie in partnership with the City of Santa Monica and the Office of Sustainability and the Environment, so that students can come and actually see a film that reinforces information that they're learning in their science textbooks. So that's the main reason why we're here, is to learn a little bit more about the issues that we're learning in, say, AP Environmental Science or Environmental Biology or Biology class. And it's also great that they're engaging in a solutions-based film and seeing how we might be able to create a pathway to sustainability, by reducing our consumption of copious amounts of meat. So that in itself is just one more positive message that they get from yet another community event. And so I'm tickled pink that we're able to put these opportunities on for young people so that they can grow up, and hopefully some of these green seeds are being planted and they'll germinate in time. And that will at least allow us later on to galvanize a critical mass to overthrow, the big industries and corporations and governments that are inhibiting us from making further progress on these very important environmental issues, which are also social justice issues too.
My name is Zoe Parcels, and I'm a junior at Santa Monica High School, and after seeing the movie Cowspiracy, I feel inspired to cut cow meat out of my diet and encourage my family and friends to do the same. But I know that in 2 weeks I will probably have some difficulties because eating grilled cheese gets boring after a little while, but doing the research, I'm sure I can do it right.